Annual inflation was 3.5% in June. The monthly index actually fell. Congratulations, your price level is still almost 30% above January 2020. All of those statements are true. The June decline was driven largely by energy, which fell 5.7% in the month. That is real relief, but it is not the same as your grocery prices reversing. Here is the trick hiding inside one word: inflation can fall while the price level keeps rising. The all-items CPI index moved from 257.971 in January 2020 to 333.952 in June 2026. That is a cumulative increase of 29.5%. The staircase did not reset. Its next steps merely changed height. Economists call that disinflation, prices rising more slowly. Deflation is the descent. So when officials celebrate a lower positive rate, they are celebrating the speed of the climb, not a return to the old landing. And that is not a malfunction. A slowly rising price level is the design. The Federal Reserve's longer-run target is 2% inflation, measured with the PCE price index, not zero. The stated goal is stable enough inflation to support employment and price stability, while leaving room to respond when the economy is hit. The target is rising prices slowly and predictably. Why not aim for falling prices? Because sustained deflation can make waiting rational. Why buy today if tomorrow is cheaper? Spending slows, incomes weaken, and nominal debts become harder to carry because the dollars owed do not shrink with prices. What sounds like a discount can become a debt press. "2% sounds gentle. Compound a constant 2% price increase for 35 years and a saved dollar buys about half as much. That is arithmetic, not a forecast. The system prefers a slow, expected leak to a deflationary break. But if purchasing power moves, the next question is, toward whom? Start with fixed-rate debt. When inflation arrives above what lenders expected, the real burden of old nominal debt falls. A government bond, a company loan, a fixed-rate mortgage. Repayment arrives in dollars with less purchasing power. Debtors can gain, creditors and cash holders can lose. Indexed debts and new interest rates complicate the picture. Sellers have another lever. Buyers remember sticker prices better than grams, ounces, or count, so a package can shrink while the front price barely moves. GAO found evidence that consumers respond less to downsizing than to an equivalent visible price increase. The price tag stays familiar. The unit price moves underneath it. Milka reduced certain bars from 100 grams to 90 in substantially unchanged packaging. In May, the Bremen Regional Court granted an injunction, finding the presentation misleading without a clear notice. One important label belongs on that exhibit. Later German government material described the decision as not final. Austria chose disclosure. Since April 1st, covered reductions that raise the unit price by at least 3% can require a 60-day notice, subject to the law's scope and exemptions, but keep the scale honest. GAO found downsizing added less than 1/10 of a percentage point to the overall price rise from 2019 through 2024. It mattered more in selected categories. So who feels the squeeze most? Whoever holds more cash has income that adjusts slowly or spends heavily in the categories rising fastest. A national index is an average basket. It is not a diagnosis of your household. Your rent, insurance, groceries, contracts, and pay can move on very different tracks. From January 2020 to June 2026, BLS indexes put food at home up 32.3%, primary rent 32.3%, motor vehicle insurance 49.9%. The headline average cannot tell you how much of your budget sits in each lane. Do not let a national wage average settle the argument either. Use your own dates, take your 3 largest recurring categories, compare the old cost with today's cost, then compare both with your pay change over the same period. If pay grew more slowly, the squeeze is measurable. You do not need an average to overrule your ledger. Then judge a product by unit cost against your pay, not by your memory of 2019. Grams per dollar, months of rent per raise. The price level may not return to the old landing. Your useful move is knowing exactly where your purchasing power went. Next week, the debt that does not feel like debt. Buy now, pay later, bring your receipts.